It is Melanie Ake, and it's the Everyday Leaders Lunch and Learn speaker series. And I am introducing today Maria Angelova. She is going to teach us all things mindset, health, stretching, really how to start getting into perspective of being in tune with our bodies. She does conferences all over the world. She lives in Atlanta, Georgia, and I met her on a speaker series. Gosh, we were doing some summits earlier this year, and we were talking about all things mindset. And so here we go. She's with us today. I want you to really dive in. If you're following us on Facebook, if you are watching this on the replay on LinkedIn or YouTube, please ask your questions, #replay, because we will be answering all those questions. So I'm excited today because of all of Maria's resume. She has done amazing things. And so, Maria, I want to turn the speaker over to you because I am just thrilled and honored that you joined us today. And thanks for sharing your time with us.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me, Melody. I'm so excited to be here and meeting new and amazing people. That's one of the favorite things of entrepreneurship for me, just like meeting you, Melanie. After this, we were both speakers, and I said, let's get together and let's get to know each other. And who knows? Here we are, right? So my name is Maria Angelova. I am the founder of Rebellious Intl, which is a lifestyle and wellness company. I come from a background of finance, so not exactly the same track of what I'm doing now, but fitness and movement has always been a part of my life. I started going to the gym when I was 12, and I started teaching group exercise classes when I was 16, and ever since then, it's been a passion of mine. And 5 years ago, I was like, let's do what my heart wants to do, and I quit corporate. And here I am, 5 years later, having my own business and getting to teach people of how to uncover who they really are through intentional movement and mindset and being their best authentic self. That's basically in a nutshell.
Oh, that's just nothing, right? Here it is, 5 years. They say it takes 5 years to be an overnight success, right? And all the things that you've done in those 5 years to be intentional about your journey, because you can't just say, I don't like what I'm doing, I'm going to quit my day job, and then have a successful business, even if you know all the right things to put in place. So I want you to take us back to the 5 years ago when you made that decision to say, this no longer fits me.
So it was a tough decision. I had a great job. I love my boss. I love my peers. I love the team I was supporting. And I had the benefits, the good salary, the safety that's out there, right? But there was something inside of me that was like, And I think you saw, Melanie, I just wrote a book, and when I wrote my story, and it's true, I would walk into the office and I would literally feel like somebody was suffocating me. And I was like, that's weird. And the feelings start getting more and more and more intense to where I was like, I have to give this a go and just see where it goes. And I don't know about you, Melanie, but I got into it a little bit naive. Oh, I'm going to quit my job and do what I love, and clients are going to rush in to work with me. Not so much, right? And that is where our personal journey begins, in growing not only professionally, but more importantly, growing personally, because we cannot have a successful professional life if we are not strong personally. If our cup is not full, we can't serve to clients, right? And that's what I teach people. And my approach to movement and fitness is different, because one, I say it has to be intentional movement. Now, everybody knows that we have to move, but a lot of people just go through the motion in movement. Intentional movement is all about connecting body and mind and being aware what muscles are working, how are they working, and so forth. But not to derail. You can see how easily I can get derailed. Going back, it was a huge journey. It felt in the beginning very lonely. I felt very lost. I didn't know where to start. I remember sitting the first week in front of my new email. I was so excited to have a new branded email, and there was nothing in there. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, like, is this ever going to change? And slowly you start saying, okay, I have to figure this out, right? And once again, I did a lot of personal growth for myself, and starting realizing who are the clients that I want, who is my niche, who am I serving, who are the people I enjoy working with. And I kid you not, it has been the most amazing experience ever. It has not been easy, I have to say that. And I think that's what you were referencing, Melanie, that you have to have a very strong why if you want to be an entrepreneur, because there are ups and there are really high ups, but then there are the downs, right? Where you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. I feel so lost, right? And every month starts at zero, right? So it's not like you have the paycheck and the benefits that come in. So you have to build it up. And I think the most rewarding thing has been really uncovering who I am, really following my purpose, really working and living with passion, and really inspiring others to, a big thing for me is respecting their body, connecting to their minds. So, for anybody who is considering quitting their job, go for it, but just know that it will be a journey, and you better be prepared that you will stick through it, right? Because that's why a lot of businesses don't last, because it's not for everybody. You have to have resilience and you have to have discipline. And I remember talking to a friend and I was like, when is this going to start happening? And she said, when you're down on the floor on your knees crying and you're like, okay, you either got to get out or you need to pick yourself up and start moving. So that's where I am. What do you think, Melanie? Do you agree?
I agree. And I think, the benefit for what you're talking about in this group for so many things, right? For coaches, for entrepreneurs, for moms, dads, for people that are in corporate America, but are like, I probably will never start my own business. However, there is benefit to having a healthy mind, body, and spirit, no matter what you're doing, right? Because if you don't show up and you're not filled up, like you said, and you don't know how to fill yourself up and you don't know how to stay healthy physically, then your mind gets really weak and you start to really deteriorate. You don't have fun at your job anymore. You don't have fun in your relationships. You really start to think badly about yourself and your potential. And you forget about personal growth. And personal growth and development, can be all those spheres of family, relationships, health, spirituality, career, right? So those are the things that we need to consider and always have that balance. And so if you forget about your health, it's really easy to forget about, right? Because you just kind of
Very,
live,
especially
right?
when you're busy and going through the motion, right?
Right. And so that's why it's so important, I think, for you today to really connect to this group and say, what are the things that we can do that are really simple, right? That we can be accountable to ourselves in and that can really make a difference in our mindset. And that's why I love following you. I love being connected to you because I know that you're going to teach us some really valuable lessons.
And you know what? I love what you said, Melanie, because to me, leadership truly starts from within. And if you can be a leader in your own life and be a leader in terms of taking charge of your health and all of those spheres, all of those aspects of your life, because you really, truly cannot be successful if you don't have that balance amongst all of them, right? We fool ourselves and we think that we can be superhuman and just push, push, push through, but eventually it cracks, right?
I was going to say you can for a while.
For a while, short term. Long term, it will catch up with you. And sadly, for most people, the urgency comes when something goes wrong health-wise, right? That's just the reality of it. And it doesn't have to be that way. And for a lot of people, for a lot of the listeners, probably the biggest thing when they hear self-care, most likely a couple of things pop to mind. I don't have time for self-care, right? I have so many other things, it's not a priority. And some people might think it is selfish to self-care. I have so many other things to do and so many other people to serve. I can put myself first. But that is where we have to shift the mindset and realize that when you start with yourself, you can serve so much better everybody else. Whether it's your work, whether it's your family, whether it's your colleague, whether it's your parents, whoever it is, whether it's your community, whether it's your church, whatever your thing is, we cannot serve from an empty cup. And people push and push and push. And we see a lot of that a lot of the issues and problems nowadays, they stem from chronic stress. And we think it's not going to catch up with us, but it eventually does. And it reduces productivity, it reduces focus, it reduces concentration. And you might think, oh, well, that doesn't apply to me. It applies to everybody, whether you're a CEO of a corporation or whether you're a mom. If you cannot focus on the task at hand, whatever your task is, if you're in pain distracts people, right? You cannot be fully functional if you're in pain. And you could be in physical pain, you can be in mental pain, in emotional pain, in spiritual pain, right? But we're so used to suppressing the symptoms,
Yes.
not going after the cause. And a lot of the issues that we encounter could be so easily solved with just 30 minutes of self-care. It doesn't have to be 2.5 hours of self-care. It could be 5 minutes of breathing exercises a day. I always tell people, start small. If you're not used to doing self-care, it will seem like a task on your to-do list, right? And it's going to be probably down there somewhere, and you need to move it up and start with just a couple of minutes. And once you start feeling better, you'll be more inclined to want to do more. And that's another thing, Melanie, I tell people, you have to find something that works for you. Because I can tell you, you should do A, B, C, D. And guess what? If you don't enjoy A, B, C, D, you're never going to do it, right? You have to do something that fulfills you and it feels good to you.
That's right. That's so important because I think every single person on here, right? None of us are the same. None of us have the same phone number. We all have a unique
Yeah.
identifying um, priority in our life. And so, whatever that looks like, some people will say, well, just do it first thing in the morning or just take time in the evening. But I think everybody's schedules are different, everybody's lives are different. So, I believe what you talk about are the things that you can do on your lunch hour. You can do uh, as you're getting ready in the bathroom. Like there are just easy, simple tips that are going to help people become better and healthier in their mindset so that they can perform better at all levels. And I think right now it's so important through COVID, we don't know how long this is all going to last. We hear stories, people that are telling us that we should wear a mask or we shouldn't wear a mask and this is the spike is going to go up again, and so we have all this fear that we say the environment around us we can't control. But the great thing is about what we teach in leadership is you can control yourself. You can continue to be healthier.
Oh,
You
yes,
can continue to protect your own environment, right? And so that makes your immune system stronger and your mindset stronger for everything else in your life to be able to support that. So,
absolutely.
uh,
I want to add to that, Melanie, because things like chronic stress, a nervous system that's fright, fear, these are all things that impact our immune system, right?
Mhm.
So any of those things, if you don't have good control of them, and listen, there are a lot of things in the world that we don't have control over, right? But one thing we have control over is us. And that's why I always tell people, change starts with you. I mean, yes, we all have these inspirational desires and we want to change the world. But guess what? If this is empty, you've got no energy to change the world, right?
Right.
And another point is change. For most people, change is hard to deal with. Well, the past year and a half has been really challenging for a lot of people. And unfortunately, it continues to be that way. And I think we have a mental crisis that's coming up because people don't know what to do and they don't know how to handle stress. And for anybody listening, I would encourage you to emphasize lifestyle, emphasize the little things, again, moving, eating, sleeping, and we'll talk a little bit more about all of those. It doesn't have to be something grand, right? But you'll be amazed how much those little changes will have an impact onto your life.
It's so, so important. So take us through the steps if we're struggling with anything right now. So anybody in this group, we have lots and lots of members that I talk to every day that say, I'm in job transition and I'm not sure what this is going to be like on the other side of it. I've not made, maybe let's take this example. It's not been my decision for the job transition. However, it's being forced on me. I'm not sure where to go. I'm not sure how to, connect to the right groups that can get me in the mindset. Cause now it's, again, and when it's not your choice, it feels like a lot of stress. So preparing for how to handle, when something comes at us that feels very fearful, what do you recommend kind of the first steps to do so that we can kind of gain that centeredness back?
I was just having this conversation with a client yesterday. So the biggest thing, you'll hear me say this a lot, believe that everything happens not to you, but for you. Whatever it is, and some things are easier to swallow than others, right? For some people who have been in the same career for a long time, a change of career could seem absolutely horrifying. But let's just, for a second, say, this is going to be terrible. I don't like this. Shift the mindset to, you know what? This is happening for a reason. And long term, I will find out that this is happening. Maybe you'll go into a role that you really don't like, but maybe you'll meet somebody that 5 years from now will offer you your dream job. I have another friend. She lost her job. They were doing reorg. And she was sweating and she's like, you don't understand. This is my dream job. This is the job I've always wanted to be. And I was like, you are spending a lot of energy right now on something that is happening, right? So I said, embrace it as what it is. And I was like, I guarantee you'll find another job or something is going to happen that this is going to work out. Long story short, she found an even more amazing job. She's making even more amazing money. She got promoted, which she wouldn't have in the job she was before. So if you just change your mindset and go from fear to faith, and like, it doesn't have to be religious, right? It could be just whatever your thing is, God, universe, higher being, divine power, whatever you believe in. Just have faith that whatever is happening for your best. And then don't take things personally. Sometimes if you're displaced from a position, it could feel like, oh, I didn't do a good job. They don't like me. Then we start getting into our head and our head starts spinning. That's I call it the 500 what ifs. And most likely none of them are going to happen. But we start going through, maybe if I didn't say this, maybe that, maybe that, maybe that. It really doesn't matter. What happened in the past is in the past. What's here, anxiety? What's anxiety? Anxiety is living in the future. Where are you now? Are you safe right now? Do you have a roof over your head? Do you have food to eat? For most people, the answer, we're really blessed. For most of us, the answer is yes, right? There are some people who are dealing with basic issues. If you change your perspective, you will be amazed at what happens. The other thing that's going to change, Melanie, is if you change your perspective, your vibrations, and I know some like corporate people like, oh, this is the voodoo stuff. I don't believe in stuff like that. But think about energy. When you're talking to somebody, like you feel their energy, whether you believe in that stuff or not. And you feel the people who drain your energy versus the people you talk to and you're like, oh my gosh, I want to spend more time with Melanie because she rocks, she has high energy, and she just makes me feel good, right? When you're a Debbie Downer because everything in your life is not going right, you're probably not so much fun to be around. Mm-hmm. Versus if you embrace it and say, it is what it is, and listen, take the new job. You still have opportunities, right? You can still explore other opportunities. You can still meet people. You can still network. And here's another big one, Melanie. Listen to your intuition, which again could sound foo-foo, but it is very true. A lot of us are disconnected from our intuition because our mind is just spinning and going and doesn't, I say the mind that doesn't shut up, right? It's just going. If you quiet down the mind and connect to yourself, really give yourself peace, you will be amazed at what comes from the inside. Can you relate to that, Melanie?
Absolutely.
It is so powerful. I had a friend who was going through a rough relationship. And she was like, should I get divorced? Should I not get divorced? And what about this? And what about this? And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, please do not make a decision right now because the mind that doesn't shut up, that's what's happening right now. I was like, just sleep well, nourish yourself, maybe go to the mountains for a day. Just be quiet with yourself, which is very uncomfortable for a lot of people. You will be shocked at the ideas that you never thought about before that would come to you. But the big thing is change your perspective on it. Does that make sense, Melanie?
Oh, absolutely. And I want to ask you, what do you think is the right time? So when I ask that question, I mean, is it 5 minutes? Is it 30 minutes? And I know consistency is a big deal. So every day, if you decide to go to a place of reflection, if you pick your favorite chair, if you go to a park, like whatever you decide to do you think it's important for the amount of time, or is it just the quality of time?
I would definitely vouch quality. Now, as you start getting more in tune with it and it feels more natural and you don't feel guilty about doing it, if I ask somebody who has never done meditation to close their eyes and do it for 30 seconds, you can see the fear in their eyes, like, what? I'm going to be unproductive for 30 seconds. And then I can tell the type A personalities because they close their eyes and they start doing this and they start tapping their fingers because they cannot tune out, right? They're like, what am I doing right now? I don't know what I'm supposed to do, right? So for somebody who is not used to being quiet with themselves, if you tell them sit in the chair for 10 minutes and stare at the wall, there is no way they're going to do that, right? But if you start with a minute. And I think this is the other thing, Melanie. People think I need to find a room, I need to sit with my legs crossed, I need to hold my fingers this way, I need to light a candle, I need to whatever, all of these things that we think come, let's say, with meditation. You don't. You can sit in your office chair, gaze out of the window, and observe everything that you see outside. That's meditation. Meditation is basically quieting their mind and taking it off of the constant spin to being present in the here and the now. So if you can do it for 1 minute today, and this week you do it 1 minute, and then next week you do it 2 minutes, then next week maybe you do some in the morning when you start, lie in bed. I love to start my day with gratitude. I wake up and the first thing that I do is I'd say several things quietly in my head that I'm grateful for today. And it could be the most basic things. I'm grateful that I woke up today. Many people are not grateful to wake up, right? Sometimes we forget those essentials, basic. I was talking to a colleague who is very successful, does very well, travels the world, loves his job. And I said, do you experience joy daily? And he said, no, I don't. He's like, do you? And I was like, it really made me question, like, don't I? And I was like, I thought through my day, I thought through my pride day, and I was like, absolutely. He goes, for real? I was like, yes. But see, the difference is I'm intentional about it, right? Because I find joy in like looking how the dog stretches. I'm like, that's so cute. But how many people don't pay attention to those little things because they're in a hurry? They have to get out of the house. They have to get the kids out. They have to, whatever your thing is. If you start paying attention to the little things and are intentional with paying attention to those throughout the day, it doesn't have to be for 5 minutes, for 10 minutes. Just like right now, everybody on the call, what are you grateful for today? Anything. Your health, your heart beating, your breath, the fact that you can see, the fact that you can hear, right? The fact that it's raining outside today in Atlanta and I have a roof on top of my head. There's so many things to be grateful for. But again, perspective. A lot of times people identify success as the big things, right? And nothing wrong with that. But the big things are the long-term goal. We can't miss life until we get to the long-term goal, right? Life is happening right here, right now. And that's where we start. So quality, 100% over quantity. Many people go and do long meditations. They go to the gym. They're so unintentional with what they're doing. It doesn't really matter. But if you're intentional for just a couple of minutes and consistent, like I think a lot of times people say start first thing in the morning because once the day starts taking over you, it's harder to do. So if you can find, when I was in corporate, I would schedule time on my calendar, Melanie, as a reminder to get up and move from my desk. It didn't have to be a long walk, but just circle the floor just to get moving. And I'll tell you something else I did when I would get like sleepy around 3 o'clock and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't focus. I can't look at the numbers. I would close my door. I had an office, but you can go to a conference room and I'll do a headstand. It brings the blood flow through your head. It works amazing. You come back and like you are fully awake. So you just have to find the things that work for you. If I tell you, go do a headstand and you're like, I have never done a headstand in my life, that's probably not going to work for you, right? We don't want to have any injuries around.
That's hilarious. Well, here's the thing, right? You have to know the strategy that's going to work for you, and you have to be really intentional, like you said, because doing that will help you get more confidence every single day to get you a little bit further along. And when something
Absolutely.
happens to you that isn't in your paradigm, you're shifting, but it's not what you intended. That's
Mhm.
when I think I see the biggest struggle for people is, I've got my life all planned out. I'm doing it this way. And then something just sideswipes them, either health or family situation or career, or something happens in the community. And they've got to like completely take their focus off of the momentum that they have achieved. And they've got to help and do it differently. And so, but what you're teaching today is all of the things that will keep them constant, right? They can be consistent in this so that everything else will start to fall into place.
That's exactly right. And I will tell you, the more consistent you are, the better you feel. Undoubtedly, your vibrations, your energy will be different. What you attract to you will be different. And that's just how it works. I mean, how many times do you feel in a crappy mood, things are not going well, and you're like, oh, now this happened, and now that happened, and now that happened, and that, right? Your energy is different. Change your energy. You have control over that. Listen to a song that you love. Dance around, put it on in the office and just tap your feet and feel happy. Right there. That's self-care. Right? Easy.
That's exactly right. It's so easy. Oh my goodness.
We overcomplicate it.
We do overcomplicate it. So I know you came, you're ready. You're going to show us some strategies, some physical strategies that we can all use. The people that are watching this or that are joining on Zoom here in the back room, show us some things that are really critical to the first step. So if we're just beginning this and we haven't done this a whole lot, what are the things that you are going to recommend to us that are going to really make an impact?
So very quickly, self-care is anything that nurtures you, right? A lot of times people don't think of the basics like sleep, food, hydration. We don't consider that self-care, but truly I call that the foundational self-care, right? Sleep, you have to sleep. If you don't sleep, your hormones get messed up. You cannot focus as well. There is a whole slew of research of the importance of sleep. Here is the thing, people say, well, how much should I sleep? There are general recommendations, 7 to 8 hours. However, some people can function on 6 hours and they do fantastic. There are some people who need 10 hours. So to say you should all do the same thing, get to know your body and find out where you can function. Hydration. Hydration does not mean drink coffee and sodas. And most people know that, right? That's water, maybe tea, that's unsweetened, right? You want to keep your body hydrated. You want to make sure you get electrolytes. Food, avoid the processed foods, right? Lots of veggies, lots of fruits, not much sugar. I am a proponent of full fat. I never like to buy anything that's non-fat or low on fat because I think the chemicals that they add in it are worse for us than the fat. And healthy fats, right? Again, figure out what works for you. There's so many diets. And when I say diets, some people eat intermittent, some people eat paleo, some people eat keto. Like there's so many variations. Find out the one that works for you. Just because it works for your spouse or for your best friend or for your colleague doesn't mean it's going to work for you, right? So again, get to know your body. So all of these are the foundational things, okay? On top of that, one of my favorite ways is intentional movement. And what I thought we could do here, Melanie, is I want to show the intentional piece of the movement, right? Because pretty much likely everybody here has done some kind of movement, right? So I will show you some stuff that you can do seated that you don't even have to get from your chair. And I want you again to show you the intentional piece of it, and we're going to integrate the breath with it, okay? So first of all, let's talk about how we sit. When we sit, posture is huge. If our posture is slumpy and not good, that right there is going to waste us a lot of energy. Because think about it, all of the organs here are squished. You're likely experiencing a lot of tension. You might have headaches. You might have migraines. This is not good for our nervous system. Think about the spine and those poor vertebrae and maybe nerves that are getting compressed. No. You want to sit up nice and tall. So right there, if you sit nice and tall all day long, that's your workout. Because if you effectively leverage your core to sit up tall, you're going to get an ab workout the entire day. How cool is that? You don't even have to go to the gym. Isn't that amazing, Melanie? Like, wouldn't you love to do that?
There you go, free tip.
Right? So the way I'm sitting, I'm actually sitting up nice and tall, and you can't see, but I have my hips are at 90 degrees. And then my knees are at 90 degrees. So my feet are flat on the floor, and that's for a purpose. That's going to take the pressure off the back. A lot of the issues that I see is people who their pelvis is either tucked forward or is sticking back, one or the other. Or a lot of people who, let's say, so watch what's going to happen when I cross my leg. Can you see how my body shifted? Mm-hmm. Now I'm going to sit on one leg. Can you see how my body shifted? It's no longer straight. So right there, if you sit like that all day long, and that also counts in the car, right? Over time, that's going to start creating issues. Back pain, anyone? Hip pain, anyone? Knee pain, anyone? Okay. So the way you sit is huge implications for your health. How easy is that? It's easy, but it's also hard because we do it along many hours, right? So as you sit, I want you to think in Pilates, we work with pulling the ribs in and engaging the abs. So if you place your hands onto your ribs, take a nice inhale. And as you exhale, bring the ribs in. And then poke your abs. They should be nice and tight. You feel that? Now, probably a lot of you are like, okay, but now I cannot breathe. So, because in Pilates, we use a different breath. We call it lateral breathing. We stay engaged into the abs and we move the ribs in and out. So here is another tip. If you want to know, just in case you're curious if you're stressed out, because most people, 99% of the people that I ask, how is your stress level? They say, oh, it's fine. And they're like, I haven't eaten, I haven't slept, I haven't peed, I haven't pooped. You know, my daughter is getting on my nerves. I'm fighting with my husband. I've been in meetings all day, but everything is great, right? People, no, not so much. So take a nice deep breath. Now, if your shoulders came up, that's telling you are stressed out. This is a very shallow breath. It creates a lot of tension into the neck and shoulders. Anybody with neck and shoulder tension? A lot of people. So, as I said, in Pilates, we engage the abs and then we breathe laterally. We expand the ribs out on an inhale and pull them in on an exhale. The thing is, without the shoulders going up. So now we're going to do the same thing. Abs tight. We're going to take an inhale. Shoulders don't go up. Take a nice inhale and feel the ribs expand to the side. Inhale. And exhale.
Wow.
Now that's a deep breath. That type of breath actually brings oxygen into your body. And guess what? The purpose of breathing is to bring oxygen into your body. This right here, not so much oxygen into the body, okay? So right there, something you can do practicing sitting in your office chair. The other thing is this kind of breath gives you a nice stretch into your thoracic, your upper back area where a lot of people are slouched forward, right? So right there, look how many check marks we got with that, okay? Now we're going to stay nice and tall, and I want you to be mindful that your shoulders are stacked over your hips. So you're not leaning forward, you're not leaning back, you're not curved into your back, your bottom is not sticking out, but you're sitting up nice and tall, shoulders over hips, okay? And from here, we're going to keep the abs engaged, pull the abs in, and we're going to use the Pilates breath. And now we're just going to take the arms up and down. Ready? Don't even think about it. Just take your arms up overhead and bring them down. So look at this, Melanie, and you tell me if you can see the difference. Now watch this. Can you see the difference? So just taking your arms up, we're going to do the same thing. Stay engaged, Pilates breath. I want you to think of your shoulder blades will move up, but your shoulders will not come up to your ears. Ready? And we're going to take an inhale. Let's do it. Take a nice inhale. Shoulders away from the ears. And then exhale. Now squish the air underneath your arms. Now we're going to pretend the air is super heavy. We're going to take an inhale. Feel the top of the arms working. Feel the back muscles right here working. Now move that shoulder blade up. And now pretend the air is super dense. You're going to squish it down. Exhale, and now get taller as you squish the air down. Can you feel that, Melanie?
Oh my, yes.
We're not even doing anything. We're just moving the arms up and down with alignment, with engagement, with breath. Right there, that's an exercise. It's going to get you to move the shoulders up and down. It's going to get you to practice breath. And guess what? If while you're doing that, you're not thinking about your to-do list, your, I don't know, what's going on next, about your problem, about the fact that you're about to transition, right? If you just focus on exactly what you're doing, what parts of your body are moving, that's where the intention is, right? So I can do the same thing and not feel a thing, or I can be really intentional and make it feel good. Yeah, keep those shoulders away. See, if this happens, is what's going to happen to the neck. It's going to tense. So you have to be intentional. Some people cannot do this without this happening. So maybe you need to be a little bit wider so that you can accomplish this. That's better for you, right? Now let's do something else. Extend the right arm up and get the palm to face you. And then same thing, I want you to lift the shoulder blade. You see how my shoulder blade is going up? But don't sink up and don't shift your torso. Shoulder blade moves up. Now reach that arm from the side. Feel your abs engaged. Take a nice inhale. And then exhale. Stretch the side. Don't allow that shoulder to come forward. Keep it nice and open. You're stuck between two walls. Don't shift the hips. And now inhale, come up. Stay nice and tall and exhale. We'll switch sides. Left arm up. Move that shoulder blade up. Take a nice inhale. And go up and over. Inhale up. And exhale down. How is that feeling, Melanie?
That's wonderful.
Right? So I will show you. Now let's combine the exercises. Going to go up, down, right arm up, over, left arm up and over. And we're just going to move with the breath. Ready? Nice and tall, abs in. Stack the shoulders over the hips. Press the feet into the floor. And we go. Take a nice inhale. Resist. And now use your abs and get taller. Press those arms down. Feel the arms in the back working. Exhale. One more. Inhale. Nice and tall. Don't nudge your torso. And exhale. Take the right arm up. Inhale. Turn the palm towards you. Exhale. Inhale. Lift that shoulder up. And go up and over. Stretch your side. Lengthen. Exhale. Inhale. Come back up. Exhale. Stay tall. Left arm up. Palm facing you. Inhale. Up and over. Exhale. Stretch. Shoulder away from the ear. Inhale, lift up, and exhale. Do you see how we got into a little flow? You can feel it, right? It actually got hot for me right here. I'm like, I should have turned the AC down before I got on this call.
I love this.
So what we're seeing here is the intention of the movement. We are aware of what's moving, what's not. We are intentional about. You don't even have weights, right? When we do this with clients, I usually don't use weights, or maybe I use like 2-3 pounds. That's it. But you can really feel the work because you're intentional about it. The breathing calms the nervous system. You get more oxygen into your body, right? If you don't think of anything else and you kind of move with the flow, that's your meditation right there. You don't even need to sit. If for you it's very uncomfortable to sit and just stare at the wall or close your eyes and not think about anything and your mind starts going, right there, that's your meditation, right? And then the mindset. What are some things that you can do to ground yourself? I don't know if you have read the book, Melanie, The 4 Agreements. Have you read that book?
No, I haven't read that yet.
Okay, well, there are 2 things that I'm going to throw in as tips today that have been life-changing for me. So one of them is do not take things personally. And the second one is do not make assumptions. And now you might be like, what? Just remember them, write them down. And as you go through the day, you will be shocked at how many assumptions you take and how those little things that happen around you, you take them personally. Just don't assume and don't take things personally. To me, those were life-changing. And they're so simple. And this is the thing, Melanie, in terms of movement and mindset, the biggest thing that's necessary for change is awareness. Because a lot of times we're not even aware. We're not aware of how we move. You know, a lot of people see an exercise on YouTube and they repeat it. So then I'll say, so what are you working on? They're like, well, I don't know. It says that it works the abs. Well, to work the abs, you need to execute the exercise in a certain way. Because if you don't do it correctly, you could be using muscles that you actually don't need to be working. And that's causing you more damage than benefit, right? So that's the intentional piece. Mindset. If we always react in the same way, but we're not aware of it, we can't change that. So start becoming aware. If there is anything that I say today, for example, that triggered an emotion in you, whether it was happiness, whether it was upset, whether it's sad, whatever it is, jot it down. And ask yourself, why did that statement make me happy? Or why did this statement make me upset? Because likely it has nothing to do with me, but it has something to do with the way you think.
Mm.
And Melanie, my favorite thing is that I teach is if the results in our life are not where we want them to be, we have to start with our belief system, because our beliefs create thoughts, our thoughts create emotions, our emotions drive action or lack of action, right? And then actions drive results. So if the results are not the same, the results are just a symptom of the problem. So we have to start creating awareness around the mindset that has brought us to this point. And listen, somebody might be super successful in their career, but maybe their personal life sucks, or vice versa, right? Somebody might have great success in one area, but there is something that's holding them back in another, right? And a lot of times we're not even aware of what it is.
Mm.
Does that help?
Yes, I extremely, because I think so many of us, right, we talk about being centered all the time and whatever that looks like, but you have to really assess, like you said, being aware of every part of your life that needs to be centered. And so you can't just be centered in one area and let all these other areas, go astray. And I think about COVID, the people that have been financially impacted, right, by either losing their jobs or having or they've sold their homes and now they don't know where to go because they made so much money on their old home, but yet the market's still pretty high. And so there's a lot of stress out there that they have not ever had to deal with. And so I love what you're talking and teaching about today, because if we can just kind of come back and say, okay, relax, right? Just focus on what can make you healthy, so that if you can get your mindset right, you can make all these other decisions that are really critical to your survival. And so these are just characteristics that it may be difficult for some of us to kind of slow down and focus. And like you said, close your eyes for 30 seconds. Some people that are watching this may go, "Are you kidding?"
Right. And I know that from experience because I've seen those people. I work with those people.
Right. So this is really, really critical. And I just love that you have come and shared with us today, because everybody can do this, right? Everybody can do this.
Absolutely. Is there anybody here who couldn't do this? You know, everybody. Maybe your shoulder hurts. Maybe you can't go all the way here. Then just go here.
Right.
Modify to what works for you.
Right, exactly. So tell me about, I know that you had a retreat, so I want to talk to you about this because this was amazing. Tell us about how you planned it, what you were thinking, when you started to kind of create this excitement around, we're going to go somewhere, not in your hometown, you're going to travel somewhere, take a group of people and have this retreat where they can go and reflect and relax and enjoy and learn from you. So tell us about that.
So the retreat, it's something actually I've wanted to do for a really long time. One of my another passion of mine is travel. So how cool is it to combine travel and do what I get to do? I mean, and change people's lives. It doesn't get any better than that, right? So the purpose of the retreats are they're luxurious retreats, and that's on purpose. Because when you go to a place that for most people is not their usual, it's not something that they daily go to places like that, it opens your mind to possibilities like, wow, right?
Yes.
You're purposely taken away and far away from home, because guess what? If you're home, that phone call, the demands from the family, your friends, family, community, job, whatever your thing is, they are there. I will tell you, go to the retreats. The first day, everybody's on the emails, on the text. Second day, half the day, maybe some emails, maybe some text. By the third day, they're like, I don't care about that. By the time we're done, they're like, oh, I don't want to go back to that. Because it's really a week just to yourself. You don't have to worry about what you're going to eat, what you're going to drink. We spend the entire time doing movement. We do mindset sessions. So it's exactly the type of stuff that we do, but you do it every day and for longer periods of time. And it's all about you getting to disconnect from the world in a good way and interconnect. So connecting to your intuition, connecting to guidance for what's next, right? Sometimes people feel stuck and they're like, I don't know why I feel stuck. I don't know where to go next. I just know this is not feeling right, right? So a fantastic place to go. Anybody that's overstressed, that's overwhelmed, that's, not sleeping. Some people have digestive issues because of stress. Anybody who wants to escape and make themselves a priority for a week, that's who this is for. It is amazing. It's beautiful locations, gourmet food, nourishing your, I say soul because I like that, but it's body, mind, and spirit and soul. You come back, reset, recharge. Not only that, but you have a tool set of things that you can take into your daily life to continue with them, right? And another thing, Melanie, I think that's very important is you connect with people who also want to grow, people who want to embrace those lifestyle changes, right? Because a lot of what's out there is short-term changes, but those short-term changes usually don't last. This is about helping you create a lifestyle change that you can take from whatever you are now to the rest of your life. And I will tell you from personal experience, my past 5 years in entrepreneurship, I would not be where I am today if I did not have my self-care routine. So that's kind of the premise of the retreats. That's premise for all of the training that I do, whether it's in person, whether it's online. It's all about combining your body and mind so that you can be your best and highest self. And the next retreat is coming up in February 5th through the 11th. For a second, I was like, what are the dates? 5th through the 11th, and it's in Acapulco, Mexico. So we rent private villas, we hire a gourmet chef, and the retreats are also a perfect balance of time with us. I co-host them with another MD, who is also a functional medicine doctor, and some alone time. So if you want to spend the day by the pool, watching the bay, you can do that. If you want to have a conversation with other people, you can do that. If you want to read a book, you can do that. If you want to escape to your room, you can do that. You have a lot of flexibility, but it's really a unique experience to make yourself a priority. How many of us do that today?
That's awesome. And who doesn't want to go to Acapulco?
It's an amazing place. I actually had never been until this year, and this will be my third time there. So we go to a really nice place, beautiful views. So it's a lot of fun too.
That is awesome. So, what I want you to do, because now we're part of the speaker series, I would love for you to be able to post that link. So if you can do it, kind of go back and post that link in here so that if people want to find out more about that, that we can find out and get people signed up to join you. Do you have a limit to the people that can join you on those trips?
We do. We usually aim to get no more than 10, max 12, because we want to keep it small and intimate. It's just the vibe is different. And it's great. It's really fantastic. I mean, I know I host them, so it feels like I have to say that, but they truly are life-changing and transformational.
Absolutely. If anybody's ever gone to a camp, right? It's like kind of a boot camp for your soul. So you
Oh,
really
I like that. Oh, Melanie, I might totally steal that. Boot camp for your soul. I love that. Yes, it is a soulful experience. It opens you up to knowing yourself better, to the opportunities, to, you taking a view of life differently.
Mhm.
And sometimes we all need that, wow, what was I missing? Why was I missing that? Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
My goodness. Well, Maria, I so appreciate you. I know this has just been an awesome experience for me to be able to just think about, right? Posture, how you sit, how you walk, uh, how you come into a room, right? It's the presence that you bring, the energy that you bring. And if you're not feeling it, if you don't have it, if you've lost it, try some of these exercises and connect. Maria is part of this group. So I also would like for you to put some information, Maria, if you would, just in the chat. I know I've put a lot of stuff about you on the thread as we were kind of promoting this. If you will, just kind of go back in here and let people know how they can find you, how we can get a hold of you for one-on-one. I know you do a lot of coaching, and that would be really great for those that are looking for services that need help right now.
Perfect. Well, first of all, I'd love to connect and help anybody that I can. Even if you just want to, have a conversation and need some advice, I'm always enjoy doing things like that. So hit me up. I will actually share my cell phone since we're in a group, but it is 678-358-5700. And I can post it in the group, Melanie, too.
Okay.
But again, 358-5700. And the best way to get me is to text me. I can share my email, but between you guys, if you want to get me, text me, don't email. Okay. Just being open here. And you can find me on Facebook, Maria Angelova. I am on Facebook. Melanie and I are friends. So you're welcome to friend me. And then my company's name is Rebellious. I should check that out. I didn't even plan that. It's REBELLIOUS and then INTL. And I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and I'm also on LinkedIn as Maria Angelova. So I'd love to connect and meet many of you. Like I said, I love authentic connections. And I look forward to getting to know many of you and learning more about what you do and how we can change the world together.
That's right. Collaboration is key. I heard this new word a couple of weeks ago on a connection call, and they said it's coopetition. Have you heard that word?
No, I've never heard that before.
So we were talking about collaboration, competition. People really don't want to compete. They want to collaborate. They want to help and lift each other. So there's this whole new branded word that's come about through COVID, which is coopetition, helping people rise and lift each other. And I think that's really the value of what we do in this group with everyday leaders is help each other figure out what it's going to be, what the strategy is that we're missing, what's the gap that we need to help each other and support each other. So doing part of this was, my vision for, I needed to start a speaker series where people could come in, really connect to each other. When you say, hey, post a 2-minute video about yourself, nobody wants to do that. But yet when you come on and teach about your heart, it really does inspire people to say, hey, I really do need to change that. And it's something I need to think about. And so there's so many things that we can learn. Yes, coopetition, COOPETITION. That's how I looked it up, and it was on Google. So
it is on Google. It's a legit word. Wow. Okay.
Coopetition.
You always learn something new every day, right? All this new vocabulary.
Exactly. So, Maria, thank you so much for coming on today, for sharing. You are amazing. I just knew it immediately when I met you for the first time. I thought, gosh, I know we're going to do great things together. So,
well, you know what? When I heard you speak, I was like, that is somebody I want to connect to. So, like energies attract like. That's what I'm telling you, people, right? Those connections are not random. So, yes, thank you for having me here, Melanie. I really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you. And any of you that need to connect with Maria, please just put #replay. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know how you're doing on your exercises. And Maria, you will be in touch, I know, with us on this group. So keep checking in with us. Give us some challenges on some of these exercises so that we can keep accountable to you. Okay.
I love it. Will do. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. And don't miss us next week. We've got these every Thursday from 11:45, 12:45. Please join us for the next group of speaker series next week. And thank you for joining us today. And thank you again, Maria. We love you. We appreciate you. And have a great week.
You do too. Bye.
Bye.